Tonight on NewsWatch, tragedy in Texas. We'll look at the damage from the deadly explosion that destroyed parts of one small town. Plus, gun control supporters vow not to give up. What comes next in the firearms fight? And NFL legend Kurt Warner talks about the motivation behind his new reality series, The Moment. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Martin. A monstrous explosion at a fertilizer plant kills as many as 15 people and injures more than 160. It happened in a small town near Waco, Texas. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is taking the lead on the investigation into what caused the deadly blast.
Are you serious? No. Oh, you okay?
Dad?
You okay?
I can't hear.
Come here.
I can't hear. Get out of here. Please get out of here.
The massive explosion was so strong it registered as a 2.1 magnitude earthquake. The fertilizer plant in the small town of West Texas blew up with a mushroom cloud of smoke rising overhead. Firefighters responded to a fire at the plant Wednesday evening, but while fighting the flames, the building exploded.
I'm sure
People heard and felt the explosion up to 45 miles away. Search and rescue teams are going house to house, hoping to find survivors. Several of the first responders, mostly volunteer firefighters, are among the missing. Portions of the town were completely wiped out, and the explosion damaged nearly 100 homes and businesses in a 5-block radius. Sharon Middlebrook's sister-in-law was in a nursing home near the plant.
She said the ceiling collapsed on her, and when she got to the hospital and they removed her the covers and things, she was covered with broken glass.
It's still not known what caused the explosion, but investigators say they're treating the fertilizer plant as a crime scene until they can determine if it was an industrial accident.
We're not indicating that it is a crime, but we don't know. What that means to us is that until we know that it was an industrial accident, we will work it as a crime scene. ATF is conducting the main investigation at that crime scene, which is the fertilizer plant.
Texas Governor Rick Perry is calling the deadly fertilizer plant explosion in his state a truly nightmare scenario. Perry emphasized during a news conference today that much of the information about victims remains very preliminary. He says President Obama has declared McLennan County, where the explosion happened, an emergency disaster area, making it eligible for federal aid. And the president addressed victims of the Boston Marathon bombings today at an interfaith memorial service at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Boston.
As you begin this long journey of recovery, your city is with you. Your Commonwealth is with you. Your country is with you. We will all be with you as you learn to stand and walk and, yes, run again. Of that, I have no doubt you will run again.
During his speech, Mr. Obama also promised justice to those responsible for the attack. And authorities say there's a possible break in that bombing case. Investigators have spotted a suspect from security video taken before the deadly blasts. The discovery of the image was found on surveillance footage outside of a Lord & Taylor department store near the finish line of the race. The footage shows a man reportedly talking on a cell phone and carrying a black bag strapped across his chest. It's believed he left that bag at the scene. The suspect in the video has not been identified.
Before they make any arrests, they're going to have the case pretty much, the evidence will be there. They're going to be able to really put this on somebody. They're not going to rush to judgment on this.
No one has claimed responsibility for the attack. As we've reported, the Boston bombing was carried out using pressure cooker bombs. Our chief military correspondent Chuck Holton says similar IEDs are very common in Afghanistan and Iraq.
These are used as training devices once they're taken off the streets. Of course, you can see in the photo that the pressure cookers over there look a little different than the ones that you probably have seen in your grandmother's kitchen, but the effect is the same. Once that thing is sealed, is find a way to essentially start the black powder on fire, start it burning, and then as it burns, it expands and the gas has nowhere to go. The pressure increases inside the pressure cooker until it explodes. The fact that one of these devices was used could lead somebody to believe that because they are so common in the Middle East that the bomber could be affiliated with the Taliban or Al-Qaeda or one of those groups. But then again, those things are freely available. The plans for making those bombs are freely available on the internet, and so really anybody with the inclination to do so could get a hold of that and make one very simply.
And don't forget, for all the latest on the Boston bombing investigation, you can visit our website, cbnnews.com. Supporters of gun control measures say they won't let Wednesday's defeat in the Senate stop them. The Senate rejected key elements of President Obama's gun control plan. They were trying to create tighter background checks, ban assault weapons, and ban large-capacity ammunition magazines. The president tried to blame Republicans as he surrounded himself with families of the Newtown massacre victims.
So all in all, this was a pretty shameful day for Washington. A few minutes ago, a minority in the United States Senate decided it wasn't worth it. They blocked common sense gun reforms, even while these families looked on from the Senate gallery.
Expanded background checks wouldn't have saved our loved ones, but still we came to support a bipartisan proposal from two senators, both with A ratings from the NRA.
This is a slippery slope of compromising the Second Amendment, and you go down that road, you're going to find it easier to compromise other things in the Bill of Rights.
The president says his administration will take steps on its own without Congress. We've heard that before. Well, today is Tax Freedom Day. It takes until today for Americans to earn enough money to pay their taxes for the year. It's later than last year. And Jennifer Wishon reports the reason is clear.
Americans will pay more in taxes this year than they will on food, housing, and clothing. According to the Tax Foundation, Americans will spend more than 29% of their incomes on the various taxes they'll pay in 2013.
So we're paying more in taxes, we're spending more. This is not the direction we're supposed to be going. This is not what the founders intended or envisioned. We are not getting our money's worth.
This year, Americans will pay more than $2.75 trillion just in federal taxes. But the Tax Foundation points out that even that's not enough to pay for all of Washington's spending. It would cost an additional $833 billion in taxes to cover the federal deficit. Americans will also pay nearly $1.5 trillion in state taxes. It all adds up to a total of more than $4.2 trillion. And some political leaders say that's not enough.
The Washington myth is, let's find another revenue stream. No, stop spending. So we can roll back a whole lot in Washington. If we went back to pre-Obama era levels, that's $2.7 trillion. That's an awful lot of money. By the way, that's also what we're collecting in taxes this year, which means the entire federal debt would go away, and that would square everybody. So we could start with that.
More than 3.5 months into the year, Americans can finally start keeping the money they earn. Tax Freedom Day comes 5 days later than last year. That's because Washington has added still more taxes. They include
the fiscal cliff deal, which raised income taxes and payroll taxes, Obamacare, which raised investment taxes and enacted a medical excise tax.
And don't think it's going to get any better, because many analysts believe still higher taxes are in your future, even though most Americans don't think Washington needs any more tax money. So expect Tax Freedom Day to come later and later in the years ahead. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Turning overseas, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is warning Israel will do what is necessary to prevent weapons from falling into the hands of Islamic extremists in Syria. Rebel fighters there are seeking chemical weapons to help fight the government regime. Netanyahu told the BBC the Jewish state fears those weapons will fall into the hands of Al-Qaeda or Hezbollah militants. He warned that if that happens, it will change the balance of power in the area and that the Middle East would fall into the hands of terrorists. Netanyahu said Israel has, quote, the right to act to prevent that from happening. For more on this, we turn now to our Middle East Bureau Chief, Chris Mitchell. Chris is visiting the States from Jerusalem, where he lives. Chris, what does this warning mean, and what kind of action is Israel prepared to make, would you say?
I think actually not only a warning, but just several weeks ago, they actually did have an attack in Syria that presumably destroyed some anti-aircraft missiles that were on their way to Lebanon. I think this is a warning to Syria that the rebels or Assad, if they transfer weapons of mass destruction, Israel's going to take action because they see that as an existential threat against them.
Well, talk a little bit about the situation in Syria. It's been going on for years. Is an end in sight?
I don't think so. A lot of people have felt like Assad was eventually going to fall, but he's proved much more resilient than many people expected. Iran has a vested interest in keeping the Assad regime alive, so they're pouring weapons, manpower, arms into there. So it's a real battle, and it's a real war of attrition in some ways between the rebel forces, many of them Islamist, and the Assad regime. So we don't know exactly how long it's going to last.
Well, what is it like for the people living in Syria right now?
The people in Syria, it's a horrific experience. Over 70,000 people have died. We've met some of the Syrian refugees in Jordan. They describe horrific scenes. They describe scenes of maybe, setting up a tent within the courtyard of a village, taking the men there, torturing them. You can hear the screams throughout the neighborhood, and sometimes, just disappearing. So there's horrific things going on within Syria, and the refugee problem is massive. I mean, Jordan, Lebanon, and in Turkey, nearly 1 million refugees.
Let's talk a little bit more about that ripple effect quickly, the impact on the rest of the Middle East from all of this.
It is. It's destabilizing potentially Jordan. It's having an effect on Lebanon. I mean, hundreds of thousands of refugees in Turkey. And I think for Israel, and we've been up there on the border, they want to make sure that this war doesn't spill over. Their main concern is that if the Assad regime falls, then Islamists, those that are dedicated to the destruction of Israel, are going to take over Syria. And if they get weapons of mass destruction, that's a huge problem for Israel.
All right, Chris Mitchell, our Middle East Bureau Chief, thanks as always for your time and your insights.
Thanks, Mark.
Very valuable. Appreciate it. Coming up, multi-million-dollar mosques and the man that's trying to stop them from being built.
My patients still don't know what Obamacare means for them. And how could they? There are already 13,000 pages of regulations, and the bureaucrats are just getting started. Obamacare will change your health care, and you need to understand how. There are hidden taxes and fines, big cuts in Medicare, even new regulations on what services doctors can offer you. Some businesses could get hit with a 40% additional tax on your health care plan. Please, get the Obamacare Survival Guide today. It's the best book explaining the new law. It's easy to read, everything you need to know to protect yourself, your family, your business. The Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere.
Special internet-only offer right now at Obamacare911.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
In Great Britain, the spread of mega mosques has long been controversial. Eric Stackelbeck recently sat down with one man there who wants to reverse the trend. They call him the Mosque Buster.
Across the United States, from working-class Brooklyn to rural Tennessee, multi-million-dollar mosque projects have local residents up in arms. Despite reports of Muslim Brotherhood links and foreign funding from regimes like Saudi Arabia, these projects continue full speed ahead. In 2001, there were 1,200 mosques in America. Today, that number has nearly doubled to over 2,000. That's an increase of 74% in the last 11 years alone. In Great Britain, however, things may be taking a different turn.
A planning application gets submitted for a mosque in an area and it will never be called a mosque. And a neighbour will contact us saying there's been this application, we are worried about it.
That's when lawyer Gavin Bobby springs into action. He runs the Law and Freedom Foundation, a group dedicated to promoting, quote, freedom under law. For Bobby, that means working with British citizens who oppose mosque building in their cities and towns.
We help them to organise themselves and their friends simply to use established methods of consultation to tell the local authority we object to this proposal because of the effect that it will have on the neighbourhood, the effect on parking, the effect on noise, the effect on disturbance, the architectural effects, the effects of concentration of people.
It works so well that Bobby has earned the nickname Mosque Buster. His Law and Freedom Foundation has stopped construction of mosques in 15 of the 16 cases that it's taken on. There are an estimated 1,500 mosques overall in the UK. According to Bobby, there are many others that operate illegally.
The mosque building craze, is this part of a larger strategy, do you believe, on the part of Islamists in the UK?
It's simply part of Islamic doctrine that the mosque is far more than a house of worship, a house of contemplation. Every mosque is instructed to be based upon the original mosque in Medina, where Muhammad originally, in the 7th century, set up his religious political doctrine of social control.
Critics of Bobby label him a racist and Islamophobe. He denies the charge but says he opposes Islamist ideology and Sharia law.
I have no hatred for Muslims. If anything, I feel sorry for Muslims being under this system, this barbaric belief system. The reason I'm doing it is because it's the belief system that I object to, and that needs to be resisted.
He wants that resistance to expand further into Europe, where he says organizations in 5 different countries have expressed interest in working with him. As for Great Britain, census data released this month showed that Islam is the country's fastest growing religion. Eric Stackelbeck, CBN News, London.
Up next, we look at Kurt Warner's new reality show that helps people live their dreams.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Yeah. Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes now.
My patients still don't know what Obamacare means for them. And how could they? There are already 13,000 pages of regulations, and the bureaucrats are just getting started. Obamacare will change your health care, and you need to understand how. There are hidden taxes and fines, big cuts in Medicare, even new regulations on what services doctors can offer you. Some businesses could get hit with a 40% additional tax on your health care plan. Please, get the Obamacare Survival Guide today. It's the best book explaining the new law. It's easy to read, everything you need to know to protect yourself, your family, your business. The Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere.
Special internet-only offer right now at Obamacare911.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right. You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Welcome back. It's never too late to live your dream. That's the message from pro football star Kurt Warner. He has a new reality show called The Moment. It's about giving people a second chance at their dreams. Wendy Griffith recently sat down with Warner in Phoenix, and he says the theme of the show hits close to home.
Everybody has a dream. I'm Kurt Warner.
So great to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I'm here to give you a second chance. I want to give you an opportunity to live out your dream. How's it sound?
This is so unbelievable.
Come on.
It was amazing.
Kurt Warner is taking 9 hopefuls on the adventure of a lifetime. The journey involves giving each contender a second chance to fulfill their biggest dream.
I'm here to give you a second chance to become a professional photographer for Sports Illustrated.
One dream.
You're not getting it. This is Sports Illustrated.
Clearly, I have work to do. The dreams are as diverse as the people. From a professional sports photographer to a symphony conductor to a race car driver, 9 people will be put to the test to see if they have what it takes, and it won't be easy.
Just gotta toughen up and do it.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
Kurt Warner knows all about second chances. He famously went from stocking grocery store shelves in Iowa to leading the St. Louis Rams to a Super Bowl victory just a few short years later. In the mid-90s, Kurt went to camp with the Green Bay Packers, confident his NFL career was about to take off. But just 5 weeks later, he was cut. He tried other teams, even other leagues.
And basically everybody said, we're not interested. I didn't want to give up on my dream, but I knew I had to take a job. I had to pay some bills. And so I took a job stocking shelves at a grocery store. So I'm working all night long. When I would get off, I may get a couple hours of sleep, go work out, make sure that I was still chasing my dream. And then my future wife, Brenda, who had 2 kids, I would help take care of those kids while she went to nursing school.
While making just $5.50 an hour in that grocery store, Warner got the opportunity to play arena football in Iowa.
So I did that for 3 years, the whole time trying to find a way and trying to open a door to get back into the NFL. Although I had the dream, it was one of those things where everybody around me was saying, okay, at some point you have to give this up. At some point you have to realize this isn't going to happen. They don't give 27-year-old individuals a chance to play in the NFL. It just doesn't happen, especially at the quarterback position.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
But apparently Coach Dick Vermeil of the St. Louis Rams didn't agree and gave Kurt a second chance at his dream of playing in the NFL.
He said that, there was something different, something that he noticed about me that he wanted to give me a chance. And so here I am, 27 years old. I'm a rookie in the National Football League. And I guess, as they say, the rest is history.
Warner would go on to be considered one of the best undrafted players of all time, following a 12-year career regarded as one of the greatest stories in NFL history.
When you're going through it and you're going, why can't I be the #1 draft pick? And why can't I get my opportunity? Why can't everything play out like I had always hoped it would? But now, after things have played out and I see how God's used this story, I wouldn't change a thing.
Warner says the fact that he was blessed to get a second chance makes him the perfect host for the moment.
Everybody needs someone to step in and give them, a chance to chase their dream, or in a lot of cases, a second chance because life has taken them in a different direction. It's letting people know you don't have to give up. It's not too late to be what you've always wanted to be, and I'm a perfect example of that.
He says the whole theme of second chances is something those of us who serve a God of second chances can identify with.
When I pick up the Bible, that's everybody's story in the Bible. That's what it's all about, is that it's God taking people that everybody says, no way, can't happen, no chance, and doing amazing things with them. I got your back. You got this.
Thank you. And that's the hope of each person featured in the moment. They'll have a chance to train with an expert mentor in their dream career, prepare for an interview, and hopefully land the job of a lifetime. Kurt, what do you hope people will take away from the moment?
I hope and pray that the show is that knock on everybody's door. That as they watch that show, their eyes are open to what life could be, and no longer are they going to allow things to hold them back, that they're truly going to chase after whatever it is they want in life.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Phoenix.
Great story. Well, The Moment airs Thursdays on the USA Network, and you can catch the latest episode tonight at 10. We'll be right back.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes. Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, callous feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts. Be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
A Michigan principal gets her chance to finish the Boston Marathon.
I was pretty sad because I knew that she worked so hard for it and I knew that she wanted to finish so badly.
Students from Hamilton Elementary lined the halls cheering with homemade signs, all for their principal. Dr. Pamela Mathers was just a half mile from the finish line when the explosions happened in Boston. She, like many, never got the chance to complete her run. That is, until now.
I always tell the students, set your goals high, and if you don't make them, you can always adjust it.
I'm so proud of Dr. Mathers that she could do this, and I'm so happy that she's safe.
I had kind of been reaching for it, practiced, made sure I was ready for it, and things happen. And so you can be disappointed, but you just, get right back up and set a new goal or say, I'm going to find a way to meet that goal.
And grateful to be alive, for sure. Well, Mathers used the moment to teach her kids to be thankful and also to follow through with their dreams. That's going to do it for this edition of NewsWatch. Good night.